What's going on, YouTube? Chun is back. I got another standard battle for you guys today. This is against NIz4Nazar, who I found on the Abra's Asylum Zat chat. He also has a YouTube channel here as well where he uploads his Pokemon Wi-Fi battles, so definitely go check him out. He's also got a pretty novelty team as far as EV spreads and things of that nature, so big props to you, NIz4Nazar, for using things that are a little bit different from the norm. If you are listening to this, let's go ahead and get started. I'm leading off with Swampert as always. He's going to lead off with a Bronzong. We're both going to set up the Stealth Rock on the first turn, so it's pretty standard fare. The second turn I did consider Trick, which he does end up going for, but I didn't want to take the risk and switch to another team member, because unlike other Trickers, Bronzong can trick more than just choice items, and I do end up getting a Toxic Orb. So I roar him out and I get his Rotom just to try to scout his team and see what else he's got. He's going to go for the Shadow Ball here. Judging by how much damage it did, it looks like it would be about a 3-hit KO, and he gets a special defense drop. I roar again to try to see a third team member, but I end up getting his Bronzong again. At this point I know he's either going to go for Earthquake or Explosion, because Bronzong's pretty much done his job, at least in my opinion. So I'm going to switch and go to Gengar. And he actually ends up going for Earthquake, which was actually a great move on his part, because now I don't know what his fourth move is. Is it Gyro Ball or is it Explosion? So I'm going to go to Roserade, figuring he'll either Gyro Ball or he will switch. He switches, so that tells me that he is not packing Gyro Ball, but he's actually packing the Explosion. He goes into Gyarados. Here, I'm actually going to go for the Stun Spore, because I was predicting some type of Dragon Dance set. But this Gyarados is quite different. He's actually going to go for the Substitute, which really surprised me. Not just the fact that he was carrying Substitute, but also the fact that I outsped, because this is a bulky Gyarados, the same one that you guys have seen in my previous videos. I'm sorry, a bulky Roserade. Anyway, I'm going to switch out and go to Swampert, no matter what he wants to do. He goes for the Ice Fang. My plan, of course, is to roar it out. And I did a miscalculation, though, unfortunately. I thought I could lift 2 attacks from this Gyarados, but once again, I forgot to take into account the Toxic Orb damage. So this Waterfall will take down this Swampert. So I have to go to plan B here and go into Jirachi. And I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt here, since he's now paralyzed and he is slower than me, which will break his Substitute. He's going to go for the Waterfall. I guess in hindsight he could have had Earthquake, but at this point I really didn't have any other option for taking out this Gyarados. Gengar also has Thunderbolt, but all Gengar would have done was break the sub. Waterfall would have 1-hit KO'd it. But I do live the Waterfall. The second Thunderbolt is going to take him down. At this point, I didn't even realize he had Life Orb. I just assumed he had leftovers the whole time because I saw the Substitute. But it was at that point I realized he had the Life Orb. He's going to go back to Heatran. Actually, he's going to go into his Heatran for the first time. I switch out because I definitely can't stand it. I'm going to go to Dragonite, predicting either the Fire Stab move or Earth Power. He does go for Earth Power. The only reason he would have done that is he predicted a Heatran switch in. I go for Draco Meteor as he goes into Flygon, and I got really excited when Flygon came in, but I missed the Draco Meteor, so that kind of sucks. He goes for U-turn, which I expected. I knew he wouldn't lock himself into Outrage because he saw my Jirachi, and he probably knows I'm some type of Calm Mind variant. So I'm just going to go for the Draco Meteor again, which was kind of the safe play. I actually almost clicked Flamethrower, but I didn't want to risk Heatran coming back in and getting a boost. Superpower I could have gone for, but honestly, you guys will see later, it really didn't matter whether I went for Superpower or not. I'm going to switch out and go to Gengar here, because I know this Bronzong can't do anything. He predicted that, I believe, and he goes into Heatran. Here I go for the Focus Blast, and I missed the Focus Blast. Of course, if I miss a 90% accuracy move, I'm going to miss a 70% accuracy move. Should have known that. But anyway, he goes for the overheat. That and the fact that I outsped him tells me that he's choice specs. So now I'm going to go into Infernate because I know I outspeed. I know he's not going to stay in at -2 and try to overheat again. And I can't go for close combat, so I'm going to go ahead and go straight for the overheat since Rotom's still hanging around. In comes this Flygon, and I do get a crit, which definitely made up for the Draco Meteor miss earlier. I got at least 88% damage. The only way Flygon would have lived is if I got minimum damage on that. So that was pretty cool, but now he goes into Starmie, which sucks because unless this Starmie's really slow, this game is pretty much over. So I go to Roserade because I know the Surf is coming. He does go for Surf. I take the Surf pretty well, and at this point I just stay in. I actually wasn't quite sure what I was thinking because I know he's gonna Ice Beam, but honestly I didn't want anybody else to take an Ice Beam. The only other person that could come in was Jirachi, and Jirachi would have been taken out with a Surf the next turn. So I go back to Infernate as part of a double switch to try to bait his Surf, but he's actually going to switch out and go to Bronzong, which I didn't really understand. Maybe his Starmie wasn't max speed or something, I'm not quite sure. But Dragonite comes in as part of the double switch, trying to bait the Surf. So here I go for Flamethrower, and this is the reason why going for Superpower really didn't matter whether I went for it or not, because even if I did, Bronzong still would have lived that Flamethrower, and he's just gonna explode, take down my Dragonite, and take himself out. So it is a double down. He's now gonna go into Rotom. The game is pretty much over. All I have left is Jirachi and Infernate. He's gonna go for the Shadow Ball, which he will be locked into. I didn't even realize this Rotom was scarfed until Infernate came in and I saw that he outsped it. But it will take down my Jirachi and Infernate with Shadow Ball. But it was a great game, NIZ4Nazar. Definitely hope to play you again at some point. Guys, don't forget to comment, like if you like what you see and you like what you hear, and also don't forget to subscribe. And Chun is out. Peace.